Student of the Game podcast. I'm your host Tavares. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. All right, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or Anchor or iTunes, hey, I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day and listening. If you're listening and watching on my YouTube channel, once again, thank you for tuning in. All right, and hit that like and subscribe button. Okay. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, the 2021 NBA playoffs are officially amongst us, people, and we pretty much have our matchups set, except for who's going to be the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. All right, we do know that the Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to be the number 7 seed, so that was already settled. But let's go into one of the first matchups that's going to happen, where we have the Dallas Mavericks at the number 5 seed versus the number 4 Los Angeles Clippers. Every time there's a 4 and a 5 seed, it can go either way. All right, it is very pretty hard to predict 4 and 5 seeds because they are so close. Sometimes the only difference maker, sometimes you may have a 5 seed that has a better record than the 4 seed, but because that 4 seed, they won their division, they get that 4th seed over them and they get the home court advantage. And this year, home court advantage is going to actually matter because you're able to have some states fans in the stadiums. I'm not sure whether or not if all stadiums or arenas, I'm not sure the percentages. I believe in Dallas they're allowed to go 100% max capacity. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's higher than most teams, okay? But we'll see. But anyways, man, this matchup right here is a good one, okay? Many people forget that playoff Rondo, he played for the Dallas Mavericks in 2015. And he had a bad outing in the playoffs when they lost to my Houston Rockets in the first round that year. And then it seems like he did not. It seems like I'm not going to say him and Coach Rick Carlisle did not get along, but it just seems like it wasn't a good fit for the coach and for the point guard. Okay, but man, I think playoff Rondo, he is going to be able to lead the Los Angeles Clippers over the Dallas Mavericks in this playoff series. But I do believe this series will go to 7. Well, I think it's going to go to 6 games. I think it'll go to 7 if we have a healthy Kristaps Porzingis. And see, the thing about it is, Kristaps Porzingis, because he have those troubling knee issues, and God, man, I hope this young man can get a real good clean bill of health, man, because his situation, Dallas Mavericks fans, listen, I'm a Houston Rockets fan. And let me tell you, as a Rockets fan, I can relate to your concern whenever your big is having knee problems. You remember, we had Yao Ming. And the thing about it is, the only thing that kept Yao back was injuries. And man, that was something that he could not control. And Yao worked his tail off on every aspect of his game. And Porzingis is just like that. Has a very good all-around game, similar to Yao. But the difference is he is more athletic than Yao. Okay, but both players could shoot. They can make their free throws. They have a nice touch around the basket. I mean, y'all saw the way the unicorn balled in the playoffs last year. Many believe had he not been hurt, they would have defeated the Clippers. And I think so. Because Paul George did not have the best playoff series. Okay, he struggled. And unfortunately for Paul George, it's let me see. I think since he left Indiana, he hasn't been able to get into rhythm like he normally would in the playoffs. Because if you remember, when he played for the Pacers, I mean, the world became officially introduced to Paul George on the big stage, where he went toe-to-toe against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. I believe that was like the 2012, 2013 season, around that time. But when he went to OKC, he wasn't able to, he was inconsistent. He'll have a good game, then he'll have a bad game, Then he went to the Clippers last year. And the thing about it is, last year, you know what? Everybody was going through a whole lot of different things last year, especially with the pandemic last year. So, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to have his best playoff outing last year. Okay. But, you got Kawhi Leonard over there, Marcus Morris. I think, man, this is going to be a real good series. Okay. I mean, they played last year against each other. And, Luka, I mean, it's one thing that Doc Rivers wasn't able to do is contain Luka. And the thing about it is they continue to guard him one-on-one. And I understand that. You guard him one-on-one because here's the thing. You have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, two of the best on-the-ball defenders in the league. All right? But listen, I don't care how great a defensive player you are. It is very hard to beat great offense. Okay? On a consistent basis. Maybe if it was a one-game thing, yeah. But in a best 4 out of 7 game series, that is hard to do. And like I said, they had no matchup. They had no match for Kristaps Porzingis. They could not handle him. They could not. Well, I believe it was game 1 last year where Kristaps Porzingis got ejected. Okay, and I think the Mavericks had a really good chance of winning that game. Okay, but unfortunately he got ejected, and then one of the other games, he got hurt. All right, but man, Luka is even better than he was last year. All right, so this is going to be a real big time test for the Clippers. They have a very very tough first round matchup. This is no easy walk in the park. Some people believe that the Clippers possibly tanked so that way they could face the Dallas Mavericks on purpose. I mean, I don't know. That's a crazy thing to do. I mean, that is a crazy thing to do for any opponent, because that's disrespecting an opponent. And the thing about it is, you got a player like Luka. Oh man, you don't need to give that young man any more motivation. That dude is gonna bring it. I mean, there's nothing he can't do on the court. He can shoot. He can take the ball to the basket. He can pass. He can post you up. And the guy, he's young. How old is Luka? Like 20, 21, 22? Something like that. But this is going to be a real good series. I think if Kristaps Porzingis, if they can get at least 25 to 30 minutes out of him each game, I think that's the only way the Mavericks are going to be able to win, because it's only so much that Luka can do. Now, for the Clippers to lose, Paul George will have to play like he played last year in the playoffs. I'm not banking on Paul George playing that way. I'm thinking Paul George, hey, he's focused, he's determined. He's trying to prove a lot of naysayers wrong. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those naysayers last year. I was piggybacking off the Paul George Playoff P nickname. I was referring them to Playoff P, open parentheses, the playoff is silent, close parentheses. All right. But I think he's going to redeem himself. Okay. He is a fierce competitor. I mean, the guy can ball, man. He can ball. Different coaching. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what adjustments Tyronn Lue will make. And once again, it's big having Rajon Rondo out there, man. Rajon Rondo, his awareness on defense and offense is impeccable. I mean, it's awesome, And I do believe the Los Angeles Lakers, I do believe they are going to miss playoff Rondo while they continue their playoff journey. But I think in return, the Clippers, they have gained a lot with playoff Rondo. And I think because I think playoff Rondo is going to be the big difference maker here, I'm going with the Los Angeles Clippers to win this series in 6 games, 4 games to 2. All right. Let's see. If you're listening to the podcast, stay on, okay? But I'm about to switch segments, and check this out. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, guess what? Please comment below and share your thoughts, whether or not if you believe that the Clippers are going to win the series, or if you believe the Mavericks are going to win the series. Let me know your thoughts on these series. And do you think that Kristaps Porzingis is going to stay healthy? All right. So let's go on to the next topic.